gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the theater here in Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York, USA, where tonight Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present an evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. It's all undefeated fighters versus undefeated fighters live on HBO. All contests are sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Now, before we continue, on behalf of the aforementioned promoter, Mr. Bob Arum, along with HBO Sports and Madison Square Garden, our congratulations to the class of 2015 being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at ringside, we have one of those men about to be enshrined officially tomorrow. A round of applause for the new member of the Boxing Hall of Fame, HBO's own Gentleman Jim Lampley. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the three judges assigned for this next contest: Matt Ruggiero, Don Trella, and Steve Weisfeld. Your referee in charge of the action at the bell, Ricky Gonzalez. And now on the line, the WBO Latino title, 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with the Mexican flag trim, weighing in officially at 131 1/2 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 16 fights, 16 victories, including 8 wins by knockout from San Antonio, Texas, USA. He is the challenger, undefeated El Invicto, Ivan Najera. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gray and red, and officially weighing in at 133 pounds. Also, a perfect professional record consisting of 17 fights, 17 victories, including 13 wins by knockout. De San Juan, Puerto Rico, El Invicto, WBO Latino lightweight champion, Felix Verdejo.
I gave you the instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Ya te di las reglas en el camerino. Protégese todo el tiempo y siempre obedece sus órdenes. Touch glove, toca el guante.
Felix Verdejo's debut on HBO. The idea here is you get to see a superstar before he was a superstar. But in order to do that, he has to shine against a tough, young, undefeated fighter in Najera, who sees himself as the future star.
We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves as we watch Verdejo getting started here against Ivan Najera. But looking at that body, Roy Jones, looking at his height, looking at his shoulders, I'm thinking that 135 is just the beginning. Certainly we'll see him at welterweight someday and maybe even above, right?
Yeah, maybe even junior middleweight or even middleweight. This guy has a perfect stance, perfect height, perfect formation to become a much bigger and much more effective fighter. And much like Tito Trinidad, I think he can carry his punch up to the higher weight classes with him because of his power. I mean, because of his height.
And you mentioned maybe he's a combination of many Puerto Rican standouts in the past in terms of style, Roy. He can fight on his toes, he can fight aggressively, he can play some defense, he has fast hands, fast feet, punching power.
Very high caliber type of fighter, Max. He can do a lot of things. He has all the physical attributes, all the boxing attributes that makes for great superstars in this sport.
Najera, in his last fight against Robbie Cannon all the way back in February, acknowledged to us yesterday that he was a little sluggish after putting on a lot of weight overnight. Once again here, he has put on a large amount of weight overnight. So we'll see if he's able to keep up with the pace that will be set by young Verdejo.
Well, it was not a bad idea tonight, Jim, because Verdejo is such a much more bigger specimen, height-wise, that you will need the extra weight to be able to deal with his punching power. Verdejo has power in both hands, very quick, and has an extraordinary jab.
Just snaked a nice left hook behind Najera's guard.
The good thing you like about Najera is that he knows what he's up against. He's not expecting to come out and outbox Verdejo early, but he knows that he's the guy who has to come push the issue and try to make it a deep fight, a deep water fight, like go into the 8th and 9th round.
See what Verdejo's able to do as Najera's putting on pressure. He landed 3 quick little punches on the inside. He shortened the distance of the punches. Right in the middle of the ring, an opponent with his guard up, and he was still able to connect.
Fight is scheduled for 10 rounds. Verdejo has been able to land his jab and quick left hook here in the first round. Najera, who says his favorite punch and best punch is left hook to the body, goes right along with his designation of Miguel Cotto as his favorite fighter, hasn't gotten that shot in quite yet.
And it's pretty hard for him to get it in right away because he has to keep his left hand at home to deal with Verdejo's right hand.
Najera very conscious of Verdejo's reported punching power, staying in the peekaboo guard for much of the round as Felix Verdejo moves and boxes and seems fairly easily to win the round.
You can't block those. Look at the water. You can't be passive on the defense. Breathe deeply. How you feel? Good? Good. All right. Let's work that jab. Work that jab to the chest. You're throwing it up top. You got to throw it to the chest. Jab the chest and jab the body. Breathe. Again. That's it. Relax. Do your job. Jab, jab, tap. Work the sides.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Verdejo fighting at a measured pace, able to pick his spots where he wanted to be throwing punches, where he wanted not to do so, landing 9 out of 37. Najera 6 landed punches, throwing only 29 in the round.
Roy, you heard in Verdejo's corner, his corner didn't want him to be passive on defense. What do you think they meant by that?
Well, they don't want him to just stand there when Verdejo comes in at him. Najera, comes in at him, because if he lets Najera get started, he may get hit first. You always want your guy to be first on defense, on offense, so that he doesn't get caught with a shot just sitting there.
And Najera has decided to get busy here in round two. Sudden burst of activity as he charged Verdejo and fired a fusillade of body shots, and Verdejo weathers the storm easily and now puts Najera in jeopardy along the ropes. Najera drops his hands as if to say, I don't think you've got all that much, and Verdejo sizes him up again. Hard right hand, quick left hook. Both landed solidly for Verdejo. Jab knocks Najera back into the ropes. Verdejo is the first to go to the left hook to the body. And now, Najera tries it himself.
Najera's not showing up to lose tonight.
Now, he's a very game fighter, and these are the type of fights that you want to see Verdejo in, because it forces him to keep his cool and still operate in a pressurous situation.
There was a good right hand up the middle moments ago.
Well, I see what you mean, Roy Jones, when you say that Verdejo has an extraordinary jab. It's a snake, which seems to extend as he throws it.
And keeps a lot of guys out of reach or out of range to hit him when he throws it. So you have to step inside of that range, which makes you subjective to the other punches, like that hook right there that he throws.
He's very quick with the check hook.
Yeah,
very quick with it.
You can't go back against a tall, rangy guy with power and a good jab, and if you come forward, he'll check you with the hook.
Verdejo reaching with the right hand to the body. Max Kellerman says fighters don't throw the right hand to the body enough.
Take a risk when you go to Verdejo's body because of the quick hands and the reach and the punching power.
Yeah, you have to get all the way in or don't go near it, because if you step halfway to get that body shot, he's definitely gonna counter you with a left hook or a straight right hand.
I think that's exactly the reason why Najera did not try to counter Verdejo's right hand body shot with his left hook, because Verdejo threw it from a position where he couldn't get at it. June 23, or June 27, I should say, Tim Bradley returns to World Championship Boxing against undefeated Jesse Vargas. Vargas is the current 140-pound title holder and is stepping up in weight for this one. July 25, Sergey Kovalev, fresh off his knockout win over Jean Pascal in one of this year's best fights, takes on Najib Mohammadi. Also that night, the aforementioned Pascal matches up with Yunieski Gonzalez. Let me be technically accurate. We say here that Vargas is stepping up in weight for his matchup with Tim Bradley. He spent the first part of his career at welterweight, then moved down to 140 to be stronger at that weight, and now is going back up to 147. Roy Jones, you trained him. Is he capable of fighting at 147?
Yeah, he's capable of it, Jim. Here you see Verdejo land a good straight right hand, high on the head, followed by a good left hook high on the head. Both punches high on the head, but shots that if they were a little lower on the chin could have been much more effective.
Very interesting CompuBox number here. In the first round, all his punches counted. Verdejo landed 9 of 37. In the second round, he threw 37 jabs and landed 9.
Very smart guy, very smart move, because the jab is the best punch for him right now. When you're fighting a shorter opponent, stick that jab out there, force him to deal with that, make him take chances and have to gamble behind your jab. And Jim, you were asking me about Vargas. Vargas can do a really good job at 147. However, Tim Bradley is a tough test at any weight class.
Thank you. Seems that whenever Najera sets up to try to make an offensive move, Verdejo just sticks the left hand out and hits him with the jab or the check hook.
And that's what I said. You know, he uses his range very wisely. He doesn't have to be the aggressive. He can use that jab and make Verdejo, Najera, have to come in and take chances behind his jab.
He's a classic Verdejo boxer puncher. You see him backing up to get the right range on his punches, coming forward when he needs to, when he senses a vulnerability.
Taking his time, very calculative on his attack. You gotta love seeing a fighter like Verdejo.
Verdejo landed a good sharp right hand lead seconds ago, and Najera dropped both hands at that time. Was he asking Verdejo to keep throwing so he could counter?
No, he's basically just trying to let Verdejo know that he's not bothered by the power that you're hitting him with. He's still going to be in the fight. He doesn't mind getting hit. He'll take one to land one. So that's the type of fighter that this kid, Ivan Najera, is. Najera.
That's it. There's the right hand lead again. And the quick hook.
That's the one he has to avoid, that straight right lead right there, Jim. If that lands on the chin, that could lead to some real problems.
A lot of times, fighters in this phase of Verdejo's career, 17 fights, will say, I'm ready for anyone, I'm at the top. Verdejo doesn't feel that way. He feels he's still developing and heading toward the top. But you could see from the talent already, he would give anybody problems.
Of course, and he knows that Max is just, he's smart, he's taking his time. He's just like he is out here in the boxing ring. He's very calculative with his attack, and I'm sure he'll be the same way in choosing opponents and choosing the time to attack the right opponent.
Yeah, good timing, as you're seeing so far tonight, in and out of the ring.
Right hand knocks Najera back. Verdejo getting more and more confident with his right hand, setting it up in a variety of ways. Still to come tonight, Nicholas Walters, who had a featherweight title but gave it up on the scale yesterday. will be taking on Miguel Mariaga, another unbeaten fighter from Colombia. Colombia, noteworthy over the years for turning out punchers. Mariaga has 18 knockouts and 20 fights coming in. His victory over Walters 7 years ago in the amateurs was a decision.
Throw your jab.
Muévete.
Throw your jab and move. Or to the top. No, touch the jab. All right? Water.
Igual. Las cuerdas no te quiero así.
I don't want you on the ropes, eh? I don't want you on the ropes because
Si
he
no
can
lo
catch you.
tiras, agáchese y viene con
Throw
nosotros.
it, go down.
Buen trabajo, tranquilito. Llévatela.
You saw that Ivan Najera is trained by his father, Marco, and his father has trained him ever since childhood. He was asking his son to throw the jab more, be more assertive in trying to set up his own offense against Felix Verdejo. 20 seconds into round number 4. Harold, how have you scored the first 3?
Okay, Jim, not a hard fight to score. 3-0, 30-27, Felix Verdejo. You know, Jim, for 2 rounds, Felix Verdejo circled, landed a lot of good left jabs, that hard right hand once in a while. But in round 3, he started to set his feet, step forward, and throw that knockout right hand he's got. You know, that brutal right hand. He didn't do that in the first 2 rounds as I saw it. He circled like he is now. But in round 3, he really stepped it up and looked for the KO. 3-0, Felix Verdejo.
Good body shots by Najera.
He also landed a good left hook, Jim,
Yes, he did.
but it did not phase Verdejo at all.
Well, that's one thing we'll learn about Verdejo as he goes along. How good is the chin? Whether the left hook from Najera comes back with offense of his own. Good hard right hand by Verdejo.
Oh, that rally by Najera really got Verdejo mad.
Absolutely.
Woke him up, and these right uppercuts that he's landing are some vicious uppercuts, Jim.
But that's something he's going to have to learn to control. His emotions, his temper. Maybe not against an outgunned opponent, but there will come a time.
You know, when you look at that smile, you wouldn't think he was capable of that kind of angry response. Great left hook to the body
And that hurt
by Felix Verdejo, and he's wobbled Najera now, and he's all over him on the ropes.
Yeah, Najera was hurt bad by that body shot.
Long time left in the round. Najera doing a good job now of weathering the storm after getting hurt badly to the body by Felix Verdejo.
And good uppercut by Najera. Has the heart of gold, Najera does.
And that's probably Najera's best chance when Verdejo throws caution to the wind and just looks for his own offense. Najera's best chance to actually win the fight may be to exchange. Yes, he would likely be knocked out, but at least it gives him a chance to unload something big.
Najera has grit. He seems to have a fairly full offensive package. Just doesn't have the superstar quickness that Felix Verdejo has.
Usually what separates the elite fighters from the good fighters.
Another hard right hand by Verdejo. Good left hook again inside by Ivan Najera. And he backs Verdejo up. And Verdejo fires back with the right hand again. What a fight. We've got a war going on in round number 4.
Boy, Verdejo has that championship thing in him, doesn't he?
Both of them does.
He doesn't want
do.
you hit him, he's hitting you back and
Yes,
harder.
sir.
What a round 4.
Agáchese, camine.
Get down the wall. Crouch and walk it.
Te estás quedando a su distancia, güey.
You're at his range, dude.
That's good. That's good.
Just do your thing and move, okay? You're doing good, man. You're doing real fucking good. Just your hands.
Keep your guard up.
Keep your fucking hands tight, all right? Mira.
No te desesperes, Iván. Ese güey
Don't
nomás
despair.
He see Verdejo land an overhand right, but they got around behind the glove, followed by a left hook that was on the neck. But then you see, as Najera is punching back, boom, there's a good overhand right on the chin that pushed Ivan Najera backwards.
Power shots in round number 4. Verdejo 20 out of 38. Najera 18 out of 40. Together they landed 44 punches in a terrific round.
And
Go to the 5th.
That's the type of a round that Najera needs. He needs to be exchanging, like Max said earlier, if he's going to win this fight. He's not going to outbox Felix Verdejo. He has to try to outbang him. That's his only chance.
He has to take risks.
Exactly. That's what he did in the latter part of that last round.
Especially since you see that championship impulse in Verdejo, that fighting spirit is to hit his opponent back harder and last when they're in exchanges. Verdejo does, Roy, to me, seem so far in this fight to have a slight tendency to muscle some of those shots instead of just letting them flow when he's looking to put some mustard on.
Well, he does, Max, but there comes a time in a fight sometime that you have to make a stance and let a guy know that I don't care how it feels or how it looks, you're not just going to run in here on me. Good body shot.
Oh.
That hurt
Took
bad.
his body, bothered Najera. Once again, he backs away. Verdejo sizes him up along the ropes again. Najera able to duck and slip.
Now let's see if Verdejo recognizes to go back to the body.
Of course he recognized. He went at it right away. He knows.
Because that was one of those beginning of the end type left hooks to the body.
There was a right hand to the body right afterwards to follow up on that attack.
First minute of this round was pretty civilized compared to the action in round number 4, but then Verdejo landed that left hook to the body. Now Najera has to try to answer back.
Left uppercut to be exact.
That really was an uppercut, wasn't it? Yeah. The hooker cut.
Hey, you want to continue? Step to me, step to me, step to me.
It's finish time. See if Verdejo can do it.
He's trying, I'll tell you that. Got a tough cookie he's trying against, but he's definitely trying.
Throwing shots back and all that trouble on the ropes.
Najera has guts for days.
Hey, San Antonio has nothing to be worried about here, sir. Their fighter is giving it his all.
And usually in a fight like this, the B side realizes at a certain point, I can't win. And even though they're game, they stop trying to win. That is not the case here. This is the fighter, Najera, who still believes he can win. You can see the way he's fighting.
He's undefeated and he wants to keep his oath.
That's a great point, Roy. Do you think Najera might not be reacting this way if he had previously lost a fight?
No, he wouldn't be reacting this way had he previously lost, but since he hasn't, he wants to keep it that way.
It's all right, no problem. You good? Right. Nothing's wrong. Give me water.
You were about to start exchanging with them. Don't do that.
Here, Jim, when you see a guy block the 1-2 hook, you throw a 1-2 and follow with a left uppercut. He never saw it coming. Had the hand up for the hook. He would have blocked the hook, but he could not block the uppercut.
Great point.
And it surprised him. Boom, right down the middle. As you see, the right glove was in perfect position to block a hook.
Well called, Roy Jones. It was a perfect vertical uppercut, not the hook as I called it during the round. And for the reason that Roy described, to get it around the right glove that Najera was trying to use to block the hook.
So far you can see why Najera was selected as an opponent. He's game, he's tough, he has some skills. He can test Verdejo in certain respects a little, but ultimately hasn't scored a knockout, as you mentioned off the top, Jim, in a long time. 7 consecutive fights without a knockout, and so doesn't have the pop to put Verdejo in trouble when he does land.
Yeah, but when you step up in competition, man, which also could be the problem, sometimes those knockouts stop happening. So I wouldn't say he doesn't have the power to put Verdejo in trouble, but Verdejo has shown the ability to absorb a really good shot here.
Well, we made the point at the top of the telecast that since Najera has stepped up gradually in competition, the knockouts have disappeared. and he's had 7 consecutive decision wins to preserve his unbeaten record coming in.
Well, you can see it. He's not feather-fisted, but he's not a devastating puncher. He's a solid puncher. Not someone, if you're matching Verdejo at this stage in his career, that you have to worry about catching your prospect with one big shot that would take him out.
Verdejo's promoter Top Rank is often given credit for being the best at gradually stepping up a prospect's competition along the way and nurturing him in such a way that he maximizes his talent. Obviously, that's what they're trying to get done with Felix Verdejo.
And they did a pretty good job of it here because this guy is just tough enough to make Verdejo go deep into the bag of tricks, and Verdejo's doing a great job of going deep into that bag.
Doesn't mean they never make a mistake. You always have some risk involved in the equation, but generally speaking, they've done extremely well at bringing prospects along.
Anyone who gets hit on the chin can go, even if it's not a devastating puncher.
That's
Verdejo
exactly
just got hit on the chin by a right-hand lead.
And with a guy with a heart as big as Najera is, it's very difficult to say he's not going to be dangerous anyway. He has a heart of stone.
Yeah, very few fighters are still looking to win after the punishment he absorbed in the last several rounds, and here he is forcing the fight.
Still trying to win it.
Yeah.
Najera outlanding Verdejo in this round. Verdejo threw a lot of punches in the last minute of the 5th round, maybe coasting just a little bit here in the 6th to preserve his energy.
A very smart thing. Something else that's very professional by Verdejo.
Tuesday, June 23. It's the premiere of the next installment of Real Sports, where in light of the recent FIFA scandal, we revisit our story on the controversial 2022 Qatar World Cup and take a look at some startling new issues which have emerged.
He's tired too, but I want you to throw. I want you to throw. Pressure, pressure. No more just combination 3 punches. Throw, and then get down and tighten up on the defense. Tighten up on the defense so the uppercut can't get in. Work the body or work the left. Jab, jab, wait for the uppercut on the right hand. He's going to eat that one. All of it on the inside. You catch his hand, over the top. All right, on the inside.
Igual, así lo quiero este round. Ya después vamos a discutirnos. Güey?
Pretty good offensive fight as we go to round 7. Both fighters, by CompuBox count, landing more than 40% of their punches. That's a lot of contact in a fight like this.
A whole lot of contact.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I got it 6-0, 60-53, Felix Verdejo. You know, Jim, that round 6, if you wanted to find a round to give to Ivan Najera, that might have been it, but I still think Felix Verdejo outboxed him. In round 5, Felix gets an extra point. It's a 10-8 round for that gorgeous left hook, left uppercut that trapped Ivan Najera. Give Felix an extra point for that. So all in all, I have it a shutout, 60-53. Felix Verdejo.
Now there's a right uppercut by Verdejo, and earlier while Harold was speaking, you saw him throw the left uppercut again, but he took a little bit of a risk, Roy Jones, throwing it from distance. Still, he's sticking with the uppercut because he knows it's got a good shot of landing the way Najera defends.
Yeah, it has a great shot of landing, and that's what he put him down with, was the left. So why not try the right, which conventionally should be more powerful than the left.
You can see through this fight so far, Verdejo does a lot of things really well, and asking about which former Puerto Rican star he's most reminiscent of. Trinidad, if he hit a guy this many times, the guy's not still standing. It's not Trinidad. Good snappy power, but not Trinidad power. But he has a little more bounce in his legs and better movement than Trinidad. And he's you can see he has a complete arsenal, especially for a fighter who's considered to be still in the developmental stages of his career. He's already mostly complete, you know, on his way to being complete.
So do you. Oh, good left hook by Najera. And let's see if we see that fire back mentality from Verdejo again.
Already saw it, Jimmy. Fired back with a good overhand right to calm Najera down right away.
So, Max, are you going to go with your Wilfredo Gomez comparison
That's
there?
very, very high praise and way too early, but I'm trying to say a well-rounded fighter.
Anything is high praise when we're talking about the kinds of fighters that Puerto Rico has turned out at the superstar level.
Yep.
Uppercut again, this time to the body by Felix Verdejo.
And let me just say this. We're not talking about pound-for-pound power because I think Wilfredo Gomez was one of the best pound-for-pound punchers in both hands ever.
Exactly.
Down goes Najera again.
That's pretty good power right there.
That was a tremendous shot.
And what I was going to say was, even with Felix Trinidad, we didn't see him drop as many people with his left hand as we see in this kid drop tonight. So
that's a great point, Roy. Trinidad was a classic right-hand puncher.
that's right. This guy has power in both hands.
Keep your damn hands up.
No te hace nada. Las dos
He can't touch you
las
with
manos abajo, güey.
2 times you caught you with your hands down.
Ponte verga, güey.
Your guard.
Ya lo traes, güey.
Dude, you have him, dude. Keep your guard up. After you throw your combinations, keep it up.
Te agarra mal.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. Breathe, breathe with me. Breathe with me. Let's go.
Va el 8.
This is
Ahora
8.
quiero
This is
que le
8.
metas presión.
Now you've got to pressure.
Pegadito, tirando vergas.
Pressure and throw.
This time, Jimmy, see him use the check hook after the straight right hand, blocks it, and throws a beautiful check hook as Najera was trying to throw a jab, jump right into that left hook, which is right where you don't want to be when you fight a guy taller than you.
That's an arm punch, Roy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have his body momentum into that punch.
No, he doesn't, but he turned just enough to have enough power into it to drop him.
Yeah. Verdejo's able to get torque on those shots, even when maybe he's not supposed to be able to get torque on them.
So Felix Verdejo well ahead on Harold Letterman's unofficial scorecard as we come to the 8th round of a scheduled 10. Increasingly, the question becomes an academic one. Is he going to be able to knock Najera out? Most likely, his promoter would say, well, if he goes the full 10, good education, great experience, he dominated the opponent, that's what we wanted to see.
And I would say the same thing, Jim. You want to see him go the distance, carry his power to the late rounds like he's doing here, and remain disciplined enough to do just what he needs to do to win the fight and to keep it exciting.
I'm sure they wouldn't be disappointed with a knockout.
He's fighting in the 135-pound weight class. Max Kellerman, he says, if I needed to, if business dictated, I could make 130. He'd be even more powerful at 130.
He just doesn't look like a junior lightweight to me. He looks more like a junior welterweight.
I agree. Just looks like too big a body for 130.
Yep.
Good jab hook.
Now, what do you mean by jab hook?
He threw a jab and turned it right into a hook immediately. Not many guys besides people like Sugar Ray Robinson, real fighters could do things like that. Good jab, pivot hook right there. See, he's showing you a real arsenal, Jim. To understand boxing, Harold understands, but you don't see that kind of stuff often in up-and-coming fighters.
Right.
The hook off the jab, then pivot with the jab and throw the hook.
You're looking at a guy who's on his way to being a complete boxer puncher.
A complete superstar.
His trainer, Ricardo Marquez, does not exactly have a global profile. Generally speaking, the technical level of instruction in Puerto Rico is very strong.
Yeah, it is. It's very strong. Puerto Rico, for that small of an island, always produces some true, real talent. And this guy's another one of those guys who has that true talent, true skill for boxing.
It's unreal the kind of talent Puerto Rico produces, considering the size and population of the island.
I wonder if Ivan Najera's father will give consideration to stopping the fight. It's becoming target practice, and Verdejo is bouncing Najera's head around with some very big shots here in round number 8.
When he bounced his ribs around with a very good right hook to the body just then, that hurt far worse than all of those headshots that he caught Najera with.
You have to love Felix's accuracy in this round.
And his patience, Jim. The body work has taken all of the power off of Ivan's punches. Ivan Najera has not much power left in either hand right now.
Exactly right. So from a competitive standpoint, it would appear that the fight is over. The question is, does Ivan Najera's father want him to go the distance and take more punishment against Felix Verdejo?
You're good, dude. You're good, dude. I just don't want you on the ropes. I don't want you on the ropes, dude. The only way you're going to win is you got to put him down. Come on, you won for this. You trained for this. The step that you practice so much with your father, you've got to do with it. That same movement.
Here you see Verdejo come in with a left hook followed by a beautiful overhand right on the button. That punch usually finishes most people, but you got to give Ivan the credit. Ivan has a heck of a chin.
Tough
and then he comes right back in with that same overhand right again, right behind the glove on the chin again. And Ivan Najera took those punches like a real champion.
I mentioned in the last round it's becoming target practice, and Verdejo's pretty good going to the target. Power punches in the last 2 rounds. Felix Verdejo landing 37 out of 52. That's about 70%.
Pretty dang good.
Neither fighter's ever been to the 9th round before. Verdejo looks as though he could go 15. At least against this particular opponent. And this particular opponent was impressive in the early rounds. He showed guts, determination, skill, landed some clean shots, but gradually, with his super accurate power punching, Felix Verdejo has taken over the fight and nullified Ivan Najera.
Somewhat broken the fighter down. That's what you want to see young guys do. Come in the ring, take a guy to school, and break him down throughout the duration of a 10-round fight. Now you see him use something that he hasn't used already, which is a beautiful jab to the body. Ivan still telling him, come on. Ivan is one game character, Jim. You gotta love seeing a guy like him in a big fight like this, and you hope he only lives to get better and get another opportunity like this somewhere down the line. Because he truly deserves it.
A lot of fans here, especially Puerto Rican fans, I'm sure want to see Verdejo close the show. He's put on a really good performance, but in the last round or two, there it is, a certain kind of energy is flattened out, it feels to me, in the arena, as though people are resigned to the fact that this might go the distance and Verdejo wins by, you know, shutout and extra points for knockdowns. But a couple rounds ago, when it looked like he might score the knockout, it felt like it was building to a crescendo, and that seems to have passed to me.
Well, the difference is, Max, he's not into what we call Mexican style. He's not out here to kill. He's a very good-looking fighter who's out here to box, take advantage of what he has. If the guy comes in wrong, he'll knock the guy out. If the guy doesn't make a crazy mistake, then he's cool with the guy going the distance. He's landed enough punches. He's knocked him down enough. He's shown us everything tonight. So he doesn't have to be over-aggressive and use the Mexican style, because that's not what's going to best benefit him down the line.
Max, we are on Manhattan Island, and the main event is between a Jamaican and a Colombian. So is Felix Verdejo, in fact, the ticket seller here tonight?
Seems to me.
Did all right, didn't he?
Yes. For his debut on HBO.
Arena appears to be about 80% full.
Main support to the main event.
Head movement, dude. Keep your hands up.
Está bien.
Good.
No hay pedo.
You're good, no problem.
La forma de este güey es noquearlo.
What we have to do is knock him out, dude. That's
No
it.
quiero que te chinguen este round.
Please don't get hit this round, dude.
¿Me duele la mano?
Your hand hurts? Yeah, the left one? Okay. Well, let's box him then. Box him then.
Last round.
If your hand hurts, then work with that jab to the chest and keep moving. And the right hard right hand. All right, again.
Round 10. First time to the 10th round for both fighters.
Somebody already celebrating, Jim. Smells like they're having a party.
It smells that way.
Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Chip, I got it 9 rounds to nothing, 90-79, Felix Verdejo. Give him an extra point in round 7 and round 5 for the knockdown. But Jim, I got to tell you something. I'm so against a guy having his father in the corner. I mean, after Najera took a terrible beating in round 8, the father's telling him about how he trained in San Antonio and telling him not to get hit. Well, what's he supposed to do not to get hit? I mean, I didn't expect the old man was going to stop the fight. That just never happens. But some of the stuff that the fathers say, a level to really get these kids hurt.
You could hear why maybe I said the energy seemed to flatten out when it looked like there was some resignation. This could go the distance. Verdejo in the corner. First in his corner, they say, knock him out. Then he said, my left hand. Oh, okay, then, you know, box and be careful and outpoint him. And that maybe is that sense that there wasn't going to be a knockout as Verdejo hurt his left hand a couple rounds ago.
He's trying to knock him out with that overhand right still now. He's throwing a Clubber Lane type overhand right now.
Hit your worst enemy with this overhand right type punch.
A party has indeed broken out somewhere near ringside here in the theater at Madison Square Garden. If the danger in the ring is contact, the danger at ringside is contact high. And so far we're fine.
A more mellow performance the last couple rounds.
I don't know, Jim. I'm starting to feel a little woozy here.
You have every right.
Good shot.
Oh, and Verdejo took a good shot.
Yeah, he did.
What a competitive fighter Ivan Najera is.
Yeah.
I would love to see him back, Jim, against a little bit lesser opponent, somebody that he could give a real problem to other than Felix
bring him
Verdejo.
back as anyone but Verdejo.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he'll take this, though, and learn. And the other thing is you got to realize this is the difference in having great boxing gyms around full of people. He's from San Antonio, which we don't know much about a lot of good fighters, but we do know some emerge from that area every now and then.
Now Verdejo switches southpaw for the first time in the fight. He has been known to fight entire rounds in the southpaw stance. Regards himself as being equally good from either side.
San Antonio, it's not Vegas or someplace like that, or LA. Oh, good right hand.
By Najera.
Yes.
Not New York.
That's because when Verdejo switched southpaw, he left himself open to a straight right hand lead.
That was a heck of a right hook.
Oh, they are trading bombs here at the end. Rock 'em, sock 'em with the right hand.
And there's the Verdejo smile at the end of the 10th round of an entertaining but one-sided fight.
Highly entertaining.
And you mentioned that phrase, Max, which may in future years become a watchword, anyone but Verdejo.
When Lomachenko doesn't take credit for beating a young Verdejo in the Olympics, because no, he was just a baby, he's going to be great. When Lomachenko says that about a fighter, you know that fighter's got the goods.
Well, Vasily Lomachenko is widely regarded a future opponent for Nicholas Walters, the fighter that you're about to see in the main event. But it's certainly not beyond the stretch of imagination that at some time in the not too terribly distant future, he could fight Verdejo as well.
Unless Verdejo outgrows the weight neighborhood.
Here you see Verdejo throughout the course of this fight, Jim, landing right hands high on the top of the head, left hooks right down the middle, all types of punches, not getting caught that much, right uppercuts up the middle, overhand rights right on the chin. I mean, the kid showed left uppercut up the middle. The kid showed a hell of an arsenal tonight. He showed every punch that we possibly could think of, and finally, it just got to Najera, and down we seen him go, and down we see him go again. That's what you call working taking your opponent apart, wearing him down, and then finishing strong.
You can see Verdejo is still gunning for the knockout at the end, Roy, as you surmised he would. With those right hands, it left him open for some right hands, and they were just trading big right hands and reaching and hurting each other in the last 30 seconds of the fight.
I don't think he really hurt Verdejo, but I think Verdejo felt like he has an obligation to his fans to give them entertainment, so he shot for the knockout.
Now, speaking of an obligation to the fans, we'll show you Harold Letterman's unofficial scorecard before I throw it up to Michael Buffer, where we will hear the official scores. Harold has it 100-88. Now let's see what Michael Buffer has to say about what the official judges have seen in this fight. Let's go to Michael at ringside for the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the theater in Madison Square Garden, we go to the scorecards. Matt Ruggiero and Don Trella both have it 100-88. Steve Weisfeld scores it 99-89. All three scores to the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated, still the WBO Latino lightweight champion, Felix Verdejo.